Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you last night. Huge pop for me. As always, I found out about it first on Twitter, but even when I got home, amazing to see Sid back on TV. I couldn't believe it. I mean, Sid was one of the guys I've heard for a long time is trying to make his one last run. He thinks he has something left to offer to the business. After seeing him, I gave him that first pop, but after seeing him in the ring, I'm not sure it's really going to work out. I think the stuff I saw of him wrestling in some indies and doing some interviews on YouTube, like I think there was some tricks that WWE couldn't hide. I mean, he has gotten old. He does look like a lot like Harley Race, with a little bit of a taller body. Um, Vader, when he came out, who's a little bit older than Sid, has the ability to hide underneath a mask. I think that it helps you out if you either have a mask or face paint. It can make your career go a little bit longer out there for you. But Sid couldn't he couldn't hide from the time caught up with him. But I don't know. I was listening to the Observer today, and I think Brian Alvarez took a shot at him, saying that nobody ever paid to see Sid or cared that he was around. I was a huge Sid fan as a kid. I loved him in WCW. When WWF stole him and really brought him back, brought him over for the whole SummerSlam 1991 build up into WrestleMania, I couldn't believe that WCW would let a guy like this go. I really felt as a kid who didn't really understand the backstage stuff of wrestling. I really felt that like they stole a major star from them, and that I did not know how WCW was going to go on without him. But that's funny as I was a kid. But like I said, it was great to see him. One story that I've told a lot of people on Skype and stuff that I've talked to is it's one of my favorite wrestling things from when I was a kid. Was Sacramento. We used to get a lot of not well, we got house shows too, but we used to get a lot of the Superstore tapings, and Superstar tapings aren't like what they are now. Like when you get the Monday Night Raw, or if you get the SmackDown, you have to sit through those two matches that nobody really cares about. Everybody's up getting their beer, getting their nachos and hot dogs, standing in line to get stuff at the merch stand. As you got guys like Heath Slater and whoever else, Lord Tenzai, are going at it in the ring. Two guys that you know from TV that are superstars that really go at it. Back in the day, Superstars tapings were 6 hours long. Yes, I said that correct. 6 hours with one intermission. And what they would do is they would film a whole bunch of crapless matches of being guys like Virgil against the guy who stocks the beer at the liquor store down the street. Matches like the Nasty Boys against two guys that bag groceries on the weekend. Just nobodies, and over. But as I was a kid, because these guys are huge and superstars that I see on TV every week, this was beyond belief. My dad honestly would leave me many times. He would say, "Don't move. I'm going to walk around, or we're gonna go home." So I would sit there in my seats. Back then, I was a huge wrestling fan, but I was a pretty damn good baseball player. But as we were sitting in our seats, when we looked one section over, my baseball coach and his two kids were sitting there. I think it's pretty cool. I've never really been to a wrestling event. I didn't go with people that actually saw people that were there, but as a kid, because I looked up the baseball coach and all that, that was a big, a big thing to look over and see, your baseball coach there and guy that you play ball with, one of your friends, and it was pretty cool. But like I was saying, like my dad would get up and walk around. He was drinking. My baseball coach, he was drinking, and the Mountie got up to strike a promo, and he was just basically running down people in Sacramento, getting some cheap heat, calling us all this and that. And as my dad always tells the stories, I've tried to get my dad to make this video for me to tell the story because he tells it a whole lot better than I do. He gets way into it, but basically, um, he was calling everybody in Sacramento pussies, and my baseball coach stood up and he was like, "You know what? Nobody calls me a pussy in front of my kids." My baseball coach made a beeline for the ramp, jumped over the barricade, and was making his way down the ramp. He literally had three security guys trying to hold him back. He almost made it to the ring to jump in there and fight with the Mountie, and because of the show must go on, they had to wait until they got my baseball coach escorted back on the other side of the barricade before they could hit the Sid music, who was making, I think he'd already made his debut on TV, but this was the first time I saw him live, which was way cool. Sid was coming in to get that face pop, come down there, beat the shit out of the Mountie, and he had to hold up what was going on because my baseball coach was standing in the aisle. And to tell you how different it was way back as it was back in the I guess this was in '91 because it was right around SummerSlam 1991 time. But he got to get over the barricade when WWF security pushed him back over. He made it all the way back up to his seat, and it wasn't that 5 minutes went by before somebody from the security from the arena actually came and got him and asked him to leave. His kids had to move over and sit next to us if we watched him, and he went out in the parking lot and drank beer all night long. But that honestly is my favorite Sycho Sid memory, is the night my baseball coach tried to fight the Mountie. There's a ton more out there, but damn, it was good to see this guy on Sid. If these shows keep going 3 hours, I know they're only doing this to get the pop for the 1000 Raw and push these guys out there. It's limitless on who the guy can be next week and the week after that. But I mean, if these shows are really gonna be 3 hours from here on out, I mean, bring a legend back every week because it's just worth the cheap pop more than anything. Even if they just keep fighting, Heath Slater over and over again. Like back in the day when Rom Conway was going through his gimmick and he was fighting guys like Greg Valentine and Coco Beware on Raw. It's not great TV that you want to see, but at least it's sort of fun to see a legend that you haven't seen. It was like you said, they hadn't seen Sid on Raw in 15 years. One look at him, you can tell it's been that long, but in your mind, it plays tricks you that hard to keep up with. But those Superstar tapings, they were hard. I think they'd be unwatchable now as an adult, but as a kid, I used to love them. You sit through 6 hours of wrestling so you can get down to a main event of Hogan versus Slaughter in a Desert Storm match, and I think it was worth more than the price of admission. It was pretty freaking crazy. Yeah, come on.